Hi and welcome to the community. I decided to make a video for you because your requirements showcase how effective we can be in enforcing access control, providing privileges, and obviously all the things that a lot of people forget about, which is to demonstrate, for example, activity and also to be able to attest who has access to what. So what is it that we want to accomplish? Like you said, we want to be able to only allow access to some systems via the console and not allow access to SSH and flip it around, meaning that we're going to have systems that will allow access to SSH but not the console. At the same time, you also want to stop somebody from logging into a Windows system. All those things can be accomplished with Centrify Infrastructure Services. And what I've done is, I created a design that is ready to scale because I'm using computer roles here. And when you build a system, you can just add them to a computer role and the access control model is going to be enforced. But let's go ahead and test. So here's our test cadence. We're going to go through a test case. Then we're going to prove that we can augment security operations and that we can do attestation around this. Okay? Let's start with the simplest one. The simplest one is being able to stop somebody from logging into a Windows system. And this is without using GPOs, without adding complexity. All we need to do is load the Centrify agent on the machine and join to a zone. Once you do that, only the users that have an assignment in the system, as you can see here, are allowed to log in. You don't see your name here. I have a user called Amusa, which I have created for this. So let's go ahead and try and do this. So notice that I have the user from before. And if I try to log in, here's my experience. I'm not authorized to log in from this machine. It's quite simple. Once the machine is joined to Centrify Zone, unless you have explicitly been granted access to the machine, you won't be able to log in. And to augment security operations, we can look at the logs. This is the log for that machine, member 2. So if I do a refresh, notice that I'm going to get here, hey, the user is not authorized to log in from this machine. Right? So what does this prove? That proves that you can send this over to Splunk or LogLogic and get the information that you need for security operations. At the same time, here's a report. This report I generated with Centrify Report Services, and notice that it lists you as a user, but it shows you two systems that you have access to. The Windows system is not listed because you don't have any access. Okay, now let's do the testing on the Unix systems, right? So first and foremost, we wanted to make sure that you can log into the console of one of the systems. So what I created was this Unix 1 computer role, and it has this machine called Ensign 6 right here. So I also have the tail going for both systems so we can actually take a look at what happens in the log. So let's take a look and try and log in here. You should be able to log in with the console over here. And here it is. You're able to log in. Notice that we're saying, hey, your password is going to expire in 41 days. And again, what's the benefit here? Right? The benefit is that in this case, you're allowing the user to log into the console. And if I go and look in the log, notice that in the messages log, there's a Centrify audit trail telling you that you will have granted access. Now let's try to log into the same system using SSH. The expected result is that you shouldn't be able to access. Notice that you're getting access denied right there, and we're getting also an event from Centrify Audit Trail showing you, hey, you were denied access using leveraging Active Directory as our information store, no schema extensions, no software and domain controllers, all using the same governance model in Windows. Now let's do the flip side. The flip side is I should be able to log in to another type of system, and I created another computer role here, and I have a machine called CentOS 7. So I shouldn't be able to log into the console, but only through SSH, right? So what I did was in this role, notice in the one before I gave you the login PAM access. In this one, I'm giving you SSH only. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to do a session here. Notice that I was able to log in through SSH and access is granted. But if I wanted to go ahead and log in through the list in here in this particular machine, notice that I'm not unable to do that. And if I go back to the console here, I'll be able to see that the access was denied. And again, It's quite simple for us at Centrify to get this done, but a lot of experience, a lot of time. This can be done multiple ways. You could do it with, you know, child zones or parallel zones. You could do it with individual systems. But the benefit of this type of design is that you can build systems as you build them. You can add them to these groups, and the access model is going to be respected. And also, you could actually assign this to an AD group. So that way, you don't need to come back to any of those consoles. All you need to do is add moves or changes from the AD group. This is quite powerful. At the same time, again, we got the reports going. We also got the logs going. And ultimately, I'm looking forward for this to be useful to you so you can, uncover what the power of the solution can do.